Hey guys, and welcome to a no BS bronze guide for beginners in Valheim. So when you're ready, grab your cup of tea, sit back, relax, and enjoy. To get bronze in Valheim, you're going to want to have at least a stone or flint weapon, a torch, and some food, and preferably also a wooden shield, which can easily be made with resin, leather scraps, and some wood. If you don't know how to get leather scraps because you're a complete beginner, all you have to do is kill some boars around the meadows. If you need food, simply cook some from the boars you killed earlier, or just pick up some berries around the meadows. So before you can make bronze, you need to be able to mine copper and tin. These raw resources can be mined with a Antler pickaxe, which you can make after defeating the first boss. The first boss can be summoned using 2 deer trophies, and it's a really simple boss. As long as you dodge roll and keep your distance with a bow and arrow, you should be good to go. It will drop 3 hard antlers, one of which you can use in combination with 10 regular wood to create yourself an antler pickaxe. However, before you start mining tin and copper, you're going to want to have one more resource which is only available for you at the current point in this game, inside the Black Forest. The Black Forest is a slightly harder biome with trolls, skeletons, and higher level grey dwarves. This item is called the Surtling core, which you're going to use to make both a smelter and a charcoal kiln. You find these Surtling cores inside ancient crypts, which each biome should have around 2 to 6 of. At least in my personal findings, it was usually around 2 to 6 per biome. Of course, this is completely random, depends on how big your biome is and how many spawns you have. Each world is different, but that's what I found usually. Outside of these ancient crypts, there will be skeleton spawns, but don't worry, as soon as you go inside, you're safe, as these do not follow you inside. That being said, however, inside these ancient crypts are more skeletons, and sometimes even skeleton spawners. Now, these yellow mushrooms that glow in the dark can be eaten to give yourself more health and stamina, which is always good, and which is also why I recommended to bring some food along, not just for the first boss, but for exploring these dungeons in general. The higher health you have, the better it will be, and the longer you'll survive with ease. You can cheese the skeletons you find inside these dungeons by closing and opening doors and fighting them one by one, waiting until they attack you, and then you attack them once or twice, then move back, kite them around, wait until they try and hit you again, they miss, you attack them again, and that's how you cheese them. Now, of course, this isn't a 100% fail-safe method, and there is a chance you might die, especially if the archers end up hitting you, which is why I recommend using a shield, and perhaps if you have it, leather armor as well to reduce damage. Inside these crypts, you're going to find various valuable items which you can sell later on, like amber, rubies, feathers for arrows, coins, and so on. But you're here for the Surtling cores. Now, I found that usually these ancient crypts have around 0 to 10 of them. Yes, there are times where there are 0 spawns inside. I've encountered it twice myself. I'm not entirely sure why, but it happens. If you're lucky, you find like 8 of them and the Elder Boss location inside one ancient crypt. That would of course be perfect. Now, keep in mind that these crypt locations or entrances are fairly similar to a troll cave, so be sure to not go into the troll cave because that's not where you want to go in, unless you really want to kill a troll. They look very similar, but the troll cave seems to have a wider entrance. Alright, once you have your charcoal kiln and your smelter, you're going to want to start farming copper and tin. Copper can be found inside the Black Forest in these massive chunks, which look like rock with moss over them, and it's very similar to stone. You'll know it's copper if there's these shiny little brown veins in the rock and you see it on your tooltip being the white text. Now, you're not going to receive copper every single time you break the rock. You're going to get copper randomly, and it takes about 5 to 6 swings to break a chunk of rock or copper ore. With a bronze pickaxe, this is reduced to 3 to 4 hits, which is a lot faster, which is why I recommend making or smithing yourself a bronze pickaxe first. Now, because copper is so heavy, being 10 weight per piece, you might want to build a little outpost here with a workbench to repair your pickaxe and store your copper so you can finish these huge chunks of ore. Or alternatively, just run back and forth, it's up to you. It depends on the distance between the ore and your base. Don't forget about the gold power you received from the first boss, by the way, which can be very useful when running for ores. For tin, I highly suggest against making an outpost because the tin is so spread out and there aren't massive chunks of it. Simply run back and forth from your base to water to gather tin. Alright, now that you have your tin and copper, it's time to start melting yourself some ore, but you're going to need coal for this, which is what I recommend you do while you're farming that copper and tin. This is because it takes 16 seconds to create one bit of coal from one piece of wood. Now, in the actual smelter itself, you use one coal every 15 seconds. But there's a catch. A tin bar or a copper bar take 31 seconds to be melted or smelted. This means you're going to need coal at around a 2-to-1 ratio compared to your raw ores. And you need to remember that you need 2 copper bars and 1 tin bar to create 1 bronze bar in your forge, and that forge also needs to be crafted. That forge requires 10 wood, 4 coal, 4 stone, and 6 copper bars. So make the forge first, then make yourself a bronze pickaxe. If you're wondering, it takes around 95 seconds to create 1 bronze bar if you have the coal and raw materials inside chests. Now, I suggest you get yourself a bronze pickaxe first because you're going to use it to get bronze faster, but the next thing you'd want to make is a bronze axe, simply because it allows you to cut down birch and oak trees for fine wood, which is used for the carve ship, the second best ship, portals, and of course a fine wood bow, which is a really good weapon. With that being said, though, I hope this guide helped you out. If it did, leave a like down below and maybe even consider subscribing, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.